Hey everyone. It's just the other day I was walking by an old cemetery in the town that I live in, and reminded me that Halloween is coming. Saw one. My favorite time of year. I just found it always more exciting than Christmas. I think is a lot of other people's favorite holiday, but Halloween's a little more fun, I think. So I thought maybe it'd be a good idea to share some spooky stories, maybe a couple spooky stories, but stories in general that have to do with this sort of thing, with positive lessons involved with it. And one such story came to mind today was when I moved into the town I'm in here. It's an old town, used to be an old mining town in rural Colorado, and it was established in 1896, I think, and all the houses were built in 1903. So it's had a lot of time for stuff to accumulate, including dead people, but ghosts respectively. I think the story started one night. I was asleep, and I had a dream. I was walking through this doorway and into this hallway or something, and there was a snake in there. And snakes are a recurring dream for me that have recently ended. Interesting story. I'll share that with you sometime. But there's a snake there, and I started walking away from it, but it was going faster than I, because when you start going faster, you start, it's like walking in water or on the moon, and it caught up with me and it bit me on my toe. This is in the dream. However, in real life, in my bed, I felt something grab my toe and just pull on it. Very palpable. Okay. I was absolutely certain that the snake bit my toe in the dream, and in real life, something pulled on that same toe as I was sleeping in my bed. I wasn't too startled. I thought, well, this is interesting. So I just asked out loud, mentally, in spirit, I asked, who pulled my toe? And a voice came back, probably one of my spirit guides, that said, a spirit. And well, this is okay. All right. So anyway, I didn't put much thought into it after that. I went to bed. I stayed in bed. I fell asleep again. It's probably a week or two later. Now, mind you, at this time, I lived alone. Okay. The bedroom door is shut. I have cats, but they can't talk, okay? But it was about 2, 3 in the morning or something like that. And something woke me out of my sleep. It was the voice of a little boy, maybe 10, 12 or something like that, just saying, Mom, outside of my bedroom door. So I heard this. I know I heard this as a voice, and I kind of woke up and I'm like, oh my God, what does this kid want? Wait, I don't have kids. Ooh, spooky. So, there's not too much you can make out of that, except for some sort of disembodied voice was standing behind my bedroom door, calling for his mom. And so that spooked me a little bit. Okay, and I hadn't had too many ghost experiences at that time. So anyway, I kind of, brushed it off and eventually fell back asleep. A couple of weeks later, after that, I was doing some work. I do some side work as a horologist, repairing antique clocks, watches, pocket watches, things like that. and I was at my watch bench repairing an antique watch. And I just kept getting the feeling that something was standing behind me. And it'd be during the day, even with daylight. I'd turn around and I look, there'd be nothing there, but you kind of know something's there. And okay, so you just keep going. As time went on, I felt it. It seemed like it was only in that one room, okay? And gradually I started to feel this drilling into the back of my skull, like it was working at me, trying to get in through the back of my skull. This is weird. So then my intuition kicked in and said, this spirit wants to experience human life again. And its only option is to do that through you. That's why it's doing that. So I thought, okay, this is where I draw the line. This is where I said, okay, stop. I do not permit, I do not consent anyone being invasive to my energy field or body. I do not permit anyone entering my fields. That was a lesson for me. I never really had to do that before. Already knowing I was an empath, was used to being kind of bombarded by other people's garbage. And, well, everything for that matter. But, if you're an empath and you go out in public, you know what that's like. This is when I began to learn how to create healthy boundaries. Okay. So I talked to a friend of mine who was also spiritual, and he had some experience in this field, and I learned that love is the highest frequency, the highest vibration in the universe. And the best thing I could have done, trying to find a good angle here, the best thing I could have done in such a situation is to project love. Just open heart, mind, spirit, and express love toward this being. It was evident it was a being, a living, conscious being that was there. And it was kind of a time of experimentation in this field. This person advised me that I make a little offering of peace between this being and I. This is a very passive technique, by the way. And so I did that. And what this was is I had to put a little decoration with a candle and then a glass of water. Water represents purity, clarity, transformation, as well as strength. Water, water can carve the Grand Canyon. Water has a lot of great positive attributes. So I think I put a couple flowers too. I have a garden at my home here. And so it was just a little offering of peace. Say, okay, I recognize you're here. I recognize your desire to experience something from my realm. I'm going to give you something here as an offering to respect my body, my mind, my boundaries, and I will respect yours. I don't mind cohabitating with a disembodied spirit in this room. Why? Why not? That was nice. Things calmed down. And, but I still knew he was there. I did a little bit more research, and I learned a bit on how to pass people over, how to help people cross over. And never did that before. Watched a ton of videos from YouTube. Thank God for YouTube. I've learned to do half of what I can do through YouTube. And so I learned some basic methods, so you don't have to be a medium or a psychic to do it. Everyone, if you have a good visualization and you work with energy, you're good enough to open the door, the gateway to love and light, and allow that spirit to go through. You can talk to them. You may not be able to hear them, but they can hear you. And I'll talk about this in a different video, and how to help someone cross over, because this might be a good time to do that this season. So anyhow, I learned how to do that, and after that, it stopped. I didn't sense him anymore. He was no longer around. Never had any other ghostly experiences in regards to this kid in my home. I'd since taken down the little altar I created. Everything's been repurposed in its own special way, and it moved on. But the biggest lesson was something I needed to learn a long time ago. I just didn't have the right opportunity. Was to create healthy boundaries, physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. This goes for humans and disembodied spirits, you know. We are powerful enough to express our desire, and for another being, living or past, to recognize that wish. It is possible to be impenetrable. We don't really want to do that, because then sometimes good stuff can't get in, and stuff we need to release needs to get out. We need to be in a state of flow, okay? As these rivers flow through this mountain valley, so too energies flow through us in multiple places. So it gave me the ability to develop more healthy boundaries. And the other thing was really developing a sense of love. I know what love is, you know what love is, but do you know the sense of divine love? The kind of divine love I've heard someone say, the moment you experience divine love, you can die at that moment in absolute complete peace. When you experience and know what it is not just a feeling or emotion, it is the highest of the high, the greatest of the great. It is the most acknowledging, binding, drawing energy possible. I had to learn how to manufacture that, as we all need to learn. So I learned how to, get situated in my heart. How's this thing work? How do I manufacture love? You can manufacture. It's just a gate opening of tapping into that source of love and letting it flow through your body. And project that to who you're talking to. If you see me really serious in my videos, it's because I'm getting to a place of deep energy, deep peace, of cosmic source energy, and I'm transmitting that through the video. So this is how I learned that, was ensuring that these things aren't going to try to harm me, and protecting myself and helping it at the same time. And gave a lot of love to that little boy, and he accepted it, and he moved on. And if you think about life, a lot of kids in this little area, all over the Old West, a lot of kids died of scarlet fever, okay, amongst other things. And then being stuck here, wondering where your family's at, not knowing how to get back. Imagine how important it is for a spirit to finally move on after so much time. And you're in this neighborhood with people moving in and moving out and moving in and moving out. My house was 128 years old when I moved in, something like that. And 117 years old. And imagine moving on, crossing over, and seeing his family again. Imagine the mix of emotions, the chemistry of emotions, and deep, deep uniting love. It is a very important, very special thing to do. And that love starts right here with you and with everyone you encounter. So learn how to create these boundaries, healthy boundaries, as well as bountiful love, okay? Boundless love. And there's a lesson that I learned, and I hope that this is a little lesson for you that you enjoy and take with you along your journey in life. Anyhow, it's time for me to head home now. So I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.